Good evening. Welcome to this evening's edition of the Vision Root video blog. I'm your host, Richard Urban, coming to you from historic Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. And this is my first blog this new year. Well, I'd like to revisit the topic tonight about did the Russians really hack the email of the Democratic National Committee? Let's start with a scripture reading. First from Genesis 41, verse 48. Joseph collected all the food produced in those 7 years of abundance in Egypt and stored it in the cities. In each city he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. And Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8. Babylon will suddenly fall and be broken. Wail over her. Get balm for her pain. Perhaps she can be healed. Well, the Russian hacking has been in the news a lot. Last week, they released another report. They being the intelligence community, not 17 intelligence agencies, actually 3 intelligence agencies, saying that the Russians hacked the Democratic National Committee emails again. So I looked at this so-called report, which is 25 pages, has a lot of blank pages, a lot of symbols. 12 pages or so is an agenda about Russian television. So what the heck is actually in this report? Well, basically nothing. There's no evidence whatsoever. It says, we highly believe the Russians hacked the email. Hey, well, I highly believe they didn't. I mean, there's no evidence whatsoever. It's just a political puff piece. And I'm going to play right now again, and I ascertain again, and that Julian Assange said in so many words, I'm surprised this video hasn't gotten out more, that actually it was Seth Rich, as I've said many times, who released these emails, and unfortunately, he paid for that with his life. He was murdered, so he isn't here to tell whether he did or not. So let's watch that clip again.
Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material and often very significant risks. As a 27-year-old works for the DNC, who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources are, our sources face serious risks. That's why they come to us, so we can protect their anonymity.
But it's quite something to suggest a murder. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, that others have suggested that. We are investigating to understand what happened in that situation with Seth Rich. I think it is a concerning situation. There's not a conclusion yet. We wouldn't be willing to state a conclusion, but we are concerned about it. And more importantly, a variety of WikiLeaks sources are concerned when that kind of thing happens.
So we see clearly Julian Assange saying in so many words without saying that was who leaked the emails. I find that highly more credible than these compromised so-called intelligence agencies, which without providing any proof, basically most of that report is talking about Russian television being for Donald Trump. Okay, well, that's hacking, so we should start World War III. Okay, and kick out 35 diplomats or whatever, 34 diplomats. That's crazy. Basically, also very recently, it was released that contrary to other reports earlier that were different, the Democratic National Committee never made its servers available to the FBI so they could even analyze, what was going on with their servers. That's pretty crazy. So all this allegations, the servers were hacked, and they never even examined the servers. So how the heck do they know that they were hacked? I mean, this is complete baloney. It's complete BS. So, I mean, and they're carrying on and on about it. The fact is that some disgruntled staffer released those emails because they were ticked off that Bernie Sanders never even had a chance of winning the nomination. It was completely tilted. So they're the classic thing of accusing the making accusations about other people doing the things that they're doing, the underhanded things. This is so insidious. So I mean, this is just really just complete. And then the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal, all these things saying, we are the real news. Oh yes, it's glad to have real news in real newsrooms. What a bunch of BS. They're the real news. They're printing all this stuff. They're talking from talking points that the White House puts out. And even the leaked emails showed that, the White House is calling, like people at the White House call up, shows like The Morning Joe or whatever and say, hey, we don't like what you said. You don't mind not saying that anymore. Don't say that anymore. Oh yeah, free and independent media. But then Hillary Clinton saying, oh yes, we have a problem with fake news. Nobody's more fake than Hillary Clinton. This is crazy. But in all craziness aside, now we're just 9 days away from the inauguration. Let's see, tomorrow, shortly, it'll be the 12th. Actually, it is the 12th right now. So 8 days away from the inauguration. I ask you to pray for President-elect Donald Trump and, pray for Vice President Pence and for his safe inauguration. And really, this just shows all this craziness about the Russians hacking and all this stuff. It's complete baloney. There's no evidence for it. In fact, it's interesting. When I was Googling it and searching on Bing, I couldn't find the daggum report. I mean, it's like this report, like, where the heck is the report? Fortunately, someone had posted on documents.com or something like that, and I was able to actually find it. It's like, because it is, the report, it's a joke. It's not a serious report. I mean, I have a couple servers I use for my business and personal websites, and people are trying to hack those all the time. So I must be a Russian. Russians must be trying to break into my server, right? Well, actually, those people who are hacking it appear to be from, overseas. But I mean, this stuff is so vague what they said. Of course, they're all the time phishing different servers. I mean, that's a fact. People from Russia, whatever, China, who knows where. It's crazy. So to say that was behind the election, Hillary Clinton, that's completely bogus. Without even talking about how she didn't even secure her emails and she used like 5 different devices, that for states' emails. Give me a break. This is complete bogus. So I do want to say we should definitely be vigilant in these, days leading up to President Trump's election. I mean, inauguration, that he gets into office safely. And because the people like Obama, they're doing crazy things. I mean, all these false accusations and passing all these laws at midnight, like on releasing them like on Christmas Eve, like that will, the so-called NDAA, and that will restrict, even can say that people like myself or anybody who's, doing a news analysis or any kind of media, they can say, oh, that's against national security and try to, stop you or, say that you're breaking the law. This is the kind of environment that's been created. So we want freedom and responsibility. We don't want this oppressive regime of President Obama. Thank God he's going out. I mean, we don't need that. It's created a disaster. So, yes, I do ask you to pray for President-elect Trump and, don't believe all these reports of fake news. Like Russian hacking. Do your own research. And because we really can't trust in, what these so-called CNN, all
these are the real fake news outlets are putting out there, and we have to really, be vigilant and, keep advocating
for freedom and responsibility. And speaking of that, I highly recommend, I'm going to put a link, you can click through right here to the most recent one, to the Kingdom Report by Pastor Hyung Jin Sean Moon. He's a pastor of the World Peace Union Page Sanctuary, and he's really strongly preaching the kingdom gospel and bringing down the kingdoms of Satan with the truth. People are afraid to say the truth. They're afraid to say, we shouldn't be promoting homosexuality. We shouldn't be promoting normalization of pedophilia. Yes, the people who have pushed on homosexuality and pedophilia, and are now pushing pedophilia and transgenderism, now want to say that, oh, it's normal, it's okay, I can't help myself, I just sexually abuse children. No, you don't. We have to protect our children, and it's right to be incensed at evil when people do evil things like try to harm your children and they're pedophiles and evil and satanic things. Then we have to protect our children from that. So we should be strong, peace police, peace militia. So do watch the Kingdom Report, and do pray for the well-being of Pastor Moon and his family and his wife Yana Moon and his children. And I really want to support that kingdom work, and I am supporting it. So I hope you'll also be signing up for the Daily Inspiration Ministry that we do every day. You can find it at the end of this video. And up on March 18th, we're having a conference coming up for Urban Life Training. That is kingdom building training. That is about the promotion of sexual abstinence for marriage. Our basic, materials that we use, school-based materials.
And faith-based materials. So if you'll put that on your calendar. So that's my report for tonight. Do be blessed. Do support the coming kingdom. Do tune in to the Kingdom Report. And we're grateful to see you in this new year. Have a great new year. I'm Richard Urban reporting from historic Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. Be blessed, God bless, and good night.